This will be a slight install video on installing a double din radio in your Cherokee, kind of more of a things to consider, buyer beware, choosing your radio, things you have to do, is it worth it? Hope you enjoy. Alright, this video will be about how to fit a radio in a Jeep Cherokee that's not supposed to fit. This is a Boss 6 3/4 inch touchscreen radio with CD player. Bought the double din kit from that place out in Las Vegas that does double din radios for Cherokees. And I didn't like any of their kits because none of their touchscreen radios had Apple CarPlay or anything of that sort. It was always just the chintzy, hands-free Bluetooth type stuff. So I went with this radio because it's a nice radio, Boss. However, I do regret not getting the one with the knob. The one with the knob does not have a CD player, but I like my CDs. Anyway, so I'm going to show you what I had to cut out to fit it in here, and what I had to do to the brackets on here. Now, I did buy these two separately. These did not come in a kit. When I bought the bezel for a double din, it gave me this wiring harness right here, the gray and the black, that I then spliced to the wiring harness for the Boss. You can go on Boss website or SSL, both good quality radios. I recommend if you're doing a Cherokee, get the 6 1/4 inch touchscreen without a CD player and a volume knob if you can. That just makes it a whole lot easier than the touchscreen volume control. Regardless, pretty simple splicing, and tells you what wires do what, and you just gotta sit there and solder them together. And I put a spade for the ground right here that fit into the factory ground port. That on the original radio, that would actually go onto the housing of the radio, and that would be your ground. Anyways, and then I bought 2 charging cables. I ran them down the bottom right here. I'm gonna run my second one down through there, just so easily accessible. It's always there, and I can push it back under there when I don't want it. Now, what I had to cut in here is I wanted to cut as little as possible to actually fit the radio in, and the kit for the trim bezel, I recommend you just cut this entire thing off right here and here, all the way to the edge and all the way down. Yeah, but it fits better if you just cut little by little. I had to cut this plane just behind where the HVAC unit is, the control unit. Cut that down right here, and I cut any plastic right here that tapered outwards. I want to create just a straight line in on both sides, as you can see here, and you got to cut really low, because if you don't, depending on your radio, it could be too high or low, so on. Now, at first, before I realized that it had a removable faceplate, it wasn't fitting very well, and I was actually cutting on the inside on my bracket right here to get it moved forward further, because since this is the one with the CD player, it's generally longer. So I had to take off the faceplate, cut down on this just to move the bracket forward enough so that it would face flush when the bezel is on it and not stick out, because if it sticks out too much, your trim bezel will not be able to snap all the way in. Lesson learned. Don't do what I did and start hacking away on your bracket when there's a faceplate you can take off. That I use, this is a good little kind of hand saw. Make smaller cuts or to finish bigger cuts that this one couldn't. This one cuts the plastic really well. It does make the plastic really hot really fast, so you want to do shorter, bigger cuts of this, and this should just get down more detailed stuff. I don't even know how much time I spent with both side brackets just finding the right height and depth that they need to be just to fit the radio in, but it was a pain. And yeah, just one of those things, you just gotta take your time on it. But it is a very simple process to actually get your double din radio in a Cherokee. Now, this radio does have wires for a reverse camera. It's reverse camera compatible. Let me show you how I ran my Apple CarPlay and charging. You got 2 ports, USB ports on here. Also does Android Audio. I ran my 2 charging wires and Apple CarPlay. Down here, right behind the HVAC control, you can see light. Now here is the microphone input for voice control. I ran that back through there, underneath the dash over here, which I'll eventually run it down up through there, up to over here by my sun visor. Now the bezel kit, of course, comes with all the instructions, what you need to cut, and all that good stuff. Here's what the radio looks like in here. It's a pretty clean fit. The bezel looks really good. Looks like a factory one if they did come with double-din radios. All right, here's the opening screen of it. You got your AM/FM radio. You got your Bluetooth, which is just the basic hands-free stuff, not the Android audio or the Apple CarPlay. You got your settings, general, audio. You got your balance fader, subwoofer capable, equalizer, display. Now it does darken when you turn on your lights. The screen does get darker, and you can adjust that from all these settings right here, how bright it is in day, how bright it is when you pull your headlights on. You can choose the back colors and everything, the background, your Bluetooth stuff, rear camera. It is rear camera capable, just like any touchscreen. Most touchscreen radios from SSL or Boss. I'm not going to connect mine up because in a Cherokee, you can see everything real easy in these. Now you got your AV cord, you got more USB, Bluetooth. It also is disc capable, and I believe it says it does Blu-ray and DVDs and stuff, or whatever that's worth. Here's your equalizer right here. We're going to be playing some non-copyright music. We have 2 kicker speakers here at the front, some old Alpines in the back, Dynamat, everything underneath the carpet, all the doors, the roof, the trunk. We'll be playing non-copyright music. Here's Apple CarPlay. Pretty basic stuff for your nav. Brings a little bit more modern into this Cherokee here. You got your hands-free for your phone after you set up your microphone for voice control. You got, all these apps here in your settings. Navigation, which is really nice. And you come in your Spotify. The sound output of the radio is really good. Now, if you were to be running a more advanced speaker system, these better radios would be really nice for it. However, I just was not a big fan going with the kit for the bezel. A lot of these kits came with just really generic double-din radios, and it is worth it to go out of your way to buy a decent radio. Now this Boss right here, I got it 15% off. I signed up for their email subscription and just put it on a junk email. I think I got it for around like $230. Any of the Boss or SSL, really good quality stuff. Definitely worth going with if you want reverse camera and navigation. I'll leave a link in the description for both the radio and the bezel by itself. Bought the bezel by itself and the radio separately. I'd recommend, if you want to do this, buy the bezel and then buy a radio that more suits what you're looking for. All right, if you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up. Leave a comment what kind of speaker and stereo system you have in your Jeep. This is Jeep and Jack. Hope you come back.